Internet Use Violations by Tina Sammons. This is my case study for this course. Let's start with what we know about Dr. Forbes. Dr. Stevens Forbes has been the principal of Roosevelt High School for 9 years. He has been recognized as Principal of the Year and is highly liked by all stakeholders. Dr. Forbes works diligently to fill positions with highly qualified teachers. Dr. Forbes hired Miss Cindy Walker 1 year ago. Moving on to what we know about Miss Cindy Walker. Miss Cindy Walker is a beginning teacher. Miss Walker has never been married and is dedicated to her career. Miss Walker has her undergraduate degree, master's degree, and other postgraduate work. I also know Miss Walker's classroom is rigorous and students experience high levels of stress due to the intense curriculum. Complaints have been filed about the high expectations Miss Walker expects. Miss Walker has been confronted by Dr. Forbes about techniques she can use to help reduce student stress and create positive interactions with students, but she has failed to apply them. Here's what I know about the situation. Miss Walker is in her second year of teaching and has been gone to visit family. Upon returning, she had an unidentified email asking her to check a specific website for a personal message. When she checked the message, she found suggestive and negative comments about herself and a final comment that read, "Who wants Miss Walker to disappear?" I also know Miss Walker called Dr. Forbes to alert him about the situation, and he took a look at the website. After reviewing the website, he understood her concern but thought the website was a prank. Dr. Forbes asked her if she could think of anyone who might make this prank, and Miss Walker stated Randy Franks due to classroom activity and snide comments in the class. I also know that Dr. Forbes is going to print hard copies of the email and webpage. A meeting will be held with Dr. Forbes, Miss Walker, Randy, and some of his friends to determine if they know about the website. Possibly ask the district technologist to help determine where the email originated from. Miss Walker is going to stay at her mom's house for safety. Questions I still have and things I want to know about the situation. Is it possible to trace where the email was sent from? Is it possible that Randy Franks is the one who sent the email and set up the web page? Is this web page a prank? How do I keep Miss Walker focused on instruction while a personal threat has been made to her? Is it safe for Miss Walker to be alone at home? What is the school's policy regarding threats? And should law enforcement be notified? After figuring out everything that I know, the ideal thing is to figure out what the ultimate problem is. And the problem is Miss Alice Walker, a second-year teacher at Roosevelt High School, has received an anonymous threat through a web page about wanting her to disappear. My proposed plan of action includes several steps. First, I will read the handbook about the policy dealing with threats. Second, alert the assistant principal, assuming there is one, of the situation as well as the superintendent. Third, send technology specialists an email stating I need to have a meeting first thing in the morning so I can explain the situation. Fourth, interview Randy and a few of his friends in a casual manner to see if they squill any information about the webpage. Fifth, set up a meeting with Randy and Miss Walker to discuss issues in class and possibly lead to the webpage. The meeting shouldn't be accusatory, but rather informative of ways to help class become more successful and less stressful for both parties. The strategies that I will use to complete my plan include: 1. Take notes with specific dates of all events in case needed for further investigation. 2. Keep information confidential and only notify people who need to know. This is not a situation the community needs to be aware of at this time. 3. Keep a two-way street of communication open. 4. Keep policies in mind and be sure to abide by what is printed. 5. Keep focused on the problem at hand. So what are we going to do to resolve the issue? We need to keep the focus of what is best for our students in mind. So keeping students and staff safe should be critical. Educating students on choices and the consequences that lead to those choices. Handouts dealing with stress in the classroom and possible transfer of students. When resolving the issue in bigger spectrum of things, we're going to copy and highlight what the handbook states regarding threats within our district. The URL should be sent to the technologist to see if the creator can be discovered. Meet with Ms. Walker to discuss ways to create a positive yet rigorous classroom environment. Meet with Randy Franks to discuss possible ways to deal with a stressful class. Frequent classroom observations of Ms. Walker to see the progress of the techniques that should be used during instruction, and possible aide or parent in class to have 2 adults in class at all times, a witness to events per se. As I debrief on my thoughts, I know her class may be stressful, but no one deserves that kind of treatment. Why would someone do this? What actions provoked this kind of violent threat? Who sent the message and set up the web page? How can I help Ms. Walker deal with this situation? How do I keep her focused on teaching and not her feeling uneasy? What can I do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Could this have been prevented? What do I need to do now? As I debrief on my feelings, I'm scared for Ms. Walker's safety. I'm shocked that someone can have that much resentment towards one individual. Anger that someone thought it was okay to send this web page, and guilt because I have provided techniques to make her classroom better, but she still hasn't improved, thus possibly leading to this situation. As I debrief on my values, Ms. Walker is a professional and an educator. She has strength of knowledge, and Ms. Walker's ability to alert me of the situation instead of heading straight to law enforcement or accusing a student shows that she knows the policies also and values her job in education. Unresolved issues and questions I still have. Who sent the email? Did the same person set up the web page? Did an individual act alone? Can the origin of the email or web page be found? What do I do if I do not find the sender, or if I do find the sender? And what do I do if I don't find the sender? Does Ms. Walker need some sort of protection for her safety? Remember, she lives alone. Does Ms. Walker still want to teach at Roosevelt High School? How do I, as an educational leader, demonstrate a sense of integrity and ethical behavior? I listened to Ms. Walker and assured her we would get to the bottom of the issue. I reread the policies on threats to make sure I knew what the ultimate consequence could be. I questioned Ms. Walker about who might have made the web page and had her reflect on her classroom. I printed emails and web page for proof in case it became deleted. How do I, as an administrator, treat people fairly, equitably, and with dignity and respect? I made plans to have a meeting with Randy Franks and his friends. Didn't single him out at this point. Made plans to have a meeting with Ms. Walker and Randy. Listened to complaints from parents about Ms. Walker's class and provided techniques about her ways to improve class. How do I, as an educational leader, demonstrate a personal and professional code of ethics? I showed concern to Ms. Walker when I checked the URL and understood why she was upset. I showed concern when I told her we would try and figure out who might have done this through meetings and technologists helping. I showed she was valued because I communicated by listening and responding. It's a two-way street. This concludes my presentation of my case study of internet use violations.